Welcome to Creative Tien channel. Today we want to review a knitting loom. It's called the Flexee loom by KB. You can tell this loom is very different from the traditional loom and it's very flexible. So let's do some comparison. On the left side it's a traditional knitting loom and you can see they come in different size and different gauge. That's between the pegs. Some are wider for the chunky yarn, some are smaller distance for worsted weight yarn, and some can be very small like this sock loom, and this is good for sock weight yarn. And for the Flexee loom, it's actually made of small pieces. I can take it apart and show you. You can take it apart and put it back in any configuration. So that's a big plus for this loom. And this loom comes in two different sizes. The smaller gauge for worsted weight like this one. And they also come in the bigger gauge for the chunky yarn. And the obvious advantage for this loom is that you can make any size of the loom you want. You are not limited to one size like the traditional one. If you want to knit a hat for the kids, you have to pick kid size loom. And if you want to make a hat for adult, you need adult size. With this Flexee loom, it comes with a little chart. It shows you how many pegs you need to make a baby hat. For this one, it's 56 pegs. Child hat is 72 pegs. And adult hat is 80 pegs. And you can make baby blanket if you just keep it straight. That's 96 pegs. That's the total amount of pegs for one packet of the Flexee loom. And the price is not bad. For this one, I got it from Hobby Lobby for $12.99. And you can always get discount with their coupons. So one packet of that can have 96 pegs, and it makes the baby blanket of about 22 inches. So if you have two packages, you can link them together and make an adult size blanket or throw. So that's the part I'm really excited about because of all the possibilities. You don't have to buy many separate loom, and you can still use them to make a variety of projects. In the back side of the package, it also shows you can make a square loom for weaving. Just remember for this one, the skinny one is for worsted weight or DK weight. And if you use the chunky one, it's for chunky weight. Now let's take a closer look at all the small pieces. Each piece has actually two needles or pegs, and you connect those together by snapping it together. And that's the first issue I have. It's a little bit difficult to snap in. It can be done, but you have to use some strength. Like that. Once it snaps in, it's very sturdy. It will not fall out easily. But to snap the pieces in, take some practice. My 6-year-old is trying to do that and he has problem, and it's easy to jam your finger with this for little kids. But for adult, it's just a matter of practice and using your strength. So once you snap in, you can configure into any shapes. And the most popular one is a circle. And when you look closely, there are two sides. One side has a channel, that's for the needle. And the other side is smooth, so that will be the inside. And that's important when you are making a circle or the long linear loom. For the long one, this is the shape I come up with. You are going to have a third one here because you need a gap in between. And then you can use the peg in the middle as the beginning peg to tie the yarn at the beginning and at the end. So it actually starts from the second one until the second to the last peg. And of course you can use any way you like to fit your project. And many people complain that it doesn't have an extra peg like a regular knitting loom. There's always an extra one to hold the yarn. You can always add this piece by inserting some type of rod here on the side, maybe a piece of chopstick cut into the size. It should act the same way. So that's one of the minor issues. And the other problem I have is when I try to do a scarf or linear flat knitting, like those double-sided knitting looms, I find it kind of difficult to keep the middle straight because this loom is so flexible. When you knit, if you don't constantly adjusting the tension, it tends to get tight in the middle, like this one, and that can create a problem. You will not be even. So that's another issue. But if you take your time and adjust your tension when you knit, it should not be a problem. And if you have a chunky loom, it should work better too, because a small one is a little bit harder to put your hand in between each one and control the tension. And I can see it will be the same when you have a circular loom, because it's hard to keep a perfect circular shape when you are knitting. It might change the shape if you pull too tight. But again, you can adjust it by knitting carefully and adjust the tension as you knit. And I just noticed when you look closely, each peg has a number: 2, 3, 5, 4, 7. So that can be useful if you are following certain pattern, and that can be very convenient. So you can keep on top of where you are. So this is a straight loom. You can see it's kind of flexible, and that can be a problem too because it's hard to keep the tension. Now I'm going to connect all the 96 pegs. And the 96 peg means 48 links because there are 2 pegs on each links. So we will see how big it gets for a circular loom. And you want to make sure the side with a groove is in the same side. And I like to keep it alternating color. So if you have ribbon, it'll be easier to keep track. It's flexible, that's a good part, and it's also the problem. With all the 96 pegs, the size is about 17 inches, but this is only the loom size. After it's knitted, it will be much smaller because on the loom it's always stretched out. But this gives you a lot of opportunities. Again, you can have 2 packets. You can make a big circular loom and knit your sweater. So you will be in a circle, and you just have to make a small sample and calculate the stitch number you have and the final size you want to decide how many pegs you need. And another advantage is the decreasing part, such as the top of the head. When we decrease the top of the head with a regular knitting loom, it's a little bit difficult because the loom is fixed. So we usually decrease every other needle and then take it off the loom. But with this, you have a lot more choice. After you decrease 2 stitches, you can take off the link. So the empty needle is out and you can continue knitting. So that's very useful. So when you are in the final few rows, you will be just a small circle. And that will make a nicer finish on the top, just like a hand knitting. And another advantage is for knitting the yoke sweater. When you look at this part of the sweater, it has a lot of decrease, just like the top of the head. You decrease evenly in one round, and then there will be empty needles. And after you decrease 2 times, you can take off one of the links because it has 2 packs. And you cannot do that with the traditional knitting loom. So that's another advantage of this knitting loom. So that's my review for the KB Flexee loom. I really like it. It's not perfect, but it has a lot of potential. And my favorite part is that it really doesn't take a lot of space. When you are a crafter, you have a lot of tools, and the traditional knitting loom takes a lot of space because you have to collect different gauge and different size for different project. But with this one, you can make it really small and put it away very easily, and that saves a lot of space. If you loom knit a lot, you probably still want to keep the rigid one, but if you just do it once in a while and you want more flexibility, I really recommend Flexee loom, either the skinny one or the chunky one. And this is not a sponsored video. I'm just excited to see the new product. And this one is very portable. You don't have to be sitting in front of your machine like those Japanese flatbed machine. So that's the plus side for this loom. You can just bring it with you and knit anytime, anywhere. So overall, I really like this product. I think it's a very smart invention. I hope you liked today's video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. We post video every Tuesday night. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.